babes. Welcome back to another episode of the Babe That's Bonkers podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee. So happy to have you back here. So happy to be back here. See, I'm already out of practice. I ended up taking some time off simply because the holidays were overwhelming. Not in like a bad way, just super duper busy, and I'm only human, so yeah, just took some time off, decided to just enjoy the holidays instead of overly stressing myself out with like this huge to-do list I've created for myself. Like, I have a habit of doing that, of just overloading my plate and, feeling like I have to eat everything on my plate when in reality, like, there's only some things that I like really have to do. The other things were just like extra things that I personally would have liked to do, but I can always do them another time when I have the capacity, the energy, whatnot. So yeah, we can get into that a little bit more with the life updates and whatnot. Anywho, Happy New Year. I hope y'all had the happiest of holidays. So I know I left y'all on a cliffhanger, perhaps, if you're picking up the hints. And I did want to do an episode with my partner for Christmas because Christmas is actually our anniversary. So I just thought that would have been cute. But just like the setup that we have with like the microphone, the space, and whatnot, proved to be more challenging, and just like the timing of things just ended up not working out and whatever. So maybe someday, maybe we'll do Christmas in July or something like that once like the studio is set up someday when we move someday. But until then, I don't know if we'll have any guests. That just might be a little bit too tricky for now. I need to keep practicing my podcasting skills, keep studying, researching, learning before introducing other humans to the space. Dogs only. Got Onyx over there snoring away, and that's all I can handle right now at the moment. So but today's episode is going to be about essentially like visions for the new year, perhaps. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like going off script today. Not that I actually have a script. I just have like an outline of like thoughts so I don't forget, things I've thought of that I thought were worth sharing, and also to like keep me on track so I don't just like go off the rails 100%. But that is kind of how I'm feeling today. So we'll see. But we're going to be chit-chatting about the new year. Of course, I'm going to hit you with some life updates. Also might sprinkle in some things about tarot reading, perhaps. Could be fun. Maybe update you on the winter solstice party I went to. Let's start with that, because I don't think I did that. But it was delightful to just be in a group of people who were like into this thing that I've been like getting into, just like reading and whatnot. And it's like I got my first reading done by someone. It was really cool to see that like a lot of the decks come with like little guidebooks, and you can just read the guidebook to like reference things as you're doing your tarot reading. It doesn't have to all be from memory. I don't know why I feel like in order to be able to like start something, I have to be overly prepared and perfect. Like, I felt like I had to like memorize what every single like tarot card meant in order to like start practicing this for myself. But really, I can just learn as I go along. Apparently, that is a life lesson that the universe just wants to keep on teaching me. I'm trying to practice it with a podcast, but apparently I also need to practice it with my spirituality, because there's something I'm not getting quite yet. But I see this pattern establishing, and I'm with it. I'm all for it. I think that this will only lead to growth. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then it was a quinky dink that my partner actually got me my first deck of tarot cards for Christmas. And there's like a superstition that, someone else is supposed to get you your first deck. You're not supposed to buy it for yourself, or it's like bad juju or whatever. I don't really believe in that. I don't think that something like tarot reading, introducing yourself to it with good intentions, I don't think that could ever like bring you bad juju personally. However, it was just very cool that he didn't really know about that, and he got it for me anyways, just because he knew I was reading this book I picked up thrifting about tarot reading. It's the book I've been attempting to read every time we do something and reading sounds nice. So I'm like 25 pages into that. Slow and steady progress. That's what we're going for in the reading department at the moment. But I just thought that was very, very thoughtful and sweet. Like, you know, I don't know. He just like saw something that I was like showing interest in myself and just like, I don't know, did something to help me kickstart it. And I guess I'm just getting to the tarot reading immediately because this is just like what I want to talk about today. So, surprise! This is the vision for the new year, actually. I was going to talk about like setting goals and stuff like that, but you know, another time we can get serious, I think. Today, we're going to talk about the woo-woo things because it's fun. And yeah, it's something I've been just like practicing essentially since I got them. I feel like a kid with a new toy, and I don't say that to like take things lightly as far as like spiritual practices go, but I'm just like giddy with excitement to start like, you know, messing with this new thing. And you know, I unwrapped it for Christmas, so that kind of like adds that like element to it. And you know, I say that because it's like a kid with a new toy just like always wanting to like sneak off and like keep using it type thing, and that's just how I feel. Like I'm like, oh well, like I wonder what this one would mean, and I wonder what that one would mean, and what would that make me think about my life. And I already realized how much of a mirror this tool is, and like that's what it's meant to do. Like it's this collection of symbolism, and it's like a game of chance. So like, what are the odds that this certain thing, I mean, when it comes to like numbers and cards, there are odds and statistics, and frankly I don't really care about that. I'm like, what are the odds that, you know, this card is going to make you think about something that is relevant in your life? Probably pretty high, actually. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it really is just a mirror. That's the best way I have to put it. And you know, I'm new and whatnot, so take things easy, perhaps. And one, it's been really enjoyable just like seeing all the different artworks. It was cute to see like the kind of deck he got me. It was like wilderness themed and like nature themed. So there's like oceans, forests, things like that. And I don't know. That's just like very cute in my head. Sorry to keep on bragging, but it was just such a wonderful Christmas present. I can't get over it. And it was just like so simple, you know, it wasn't this like huge thing, like a new car or something crazy like that. Like it really was just like this small, meaningful thing that just showed me that someone's paying attention, you know, and that is at least one of the things I'm looking for personally in a partner, is to just feel seen, of course. And I hope that he felt the same way. I made some homemade gifts. Yeah, of course. If they're homemade, I had to make it. I don't know what I'm saying, but I took something from one of his favorite games and just attempted to bring it to life. He's really into RuneScape, so I like crocheted this pouch. Essentially, it was like a little drawstring bag, and it was like a rune pouch. So then I got some like clay and baked some runes and painted like the symbols on them. I picked 4 of like the elements, like water, earth, air, fire. Yeah. And it was honestly a really fun project. I did indeed run off to the park to like crochet in my car to like make sure he didn't like catch me at home crocheting. So that was actually fun, and that's like a thing I'm gonna try to do more often, is just taking my yarn and my crochet needle and just going places and sitting and crocheting, because it really is just like so quick and easy to just like tag along. I mean, obviously not if you're working on like a blanket or something, but just like a little something something, or at the beginning of a project, you know. It was very peaceful to just like go out in nature, a park, I don't know, and breathe some fresh air while working on a little crafty project. I do think I also want to do that painting. That's like something I would love to do in this new year, is just like go out into the wilderness, you know, actual wilderness and metaphorical wilderness of just like society, and just like set up a little cozy station for myself to hang out on one of my days off and paint and enjoy the fresh air and the sunshine and be inspired by the world around me. You know, I'm not necessarily like a realism painter, but inspiration comes in many forms, and that can still, transfer over into like my abstract pieces, I think. I also feel like I've been working through a lot of like personal things or just a lot of different thoughts. This has been a very overwhelming year in many different ways. I feel like every little like category of life, like something significant has happened, I guess. And already I feel like the tarot has allowed me to just like really reflect on some of those situations that I've been struggling with and find like a direction that I want to start moving in, start thinking in. And it's also encouraged me to start journaling again more. I had such a fun journaling session earlier today, just kind of like setting my intentions for the new year. I've decided just the whole theme of January is, working out what I really want out of this year. Like, there's no rush to have it all figured out by New Year's Day, I think. At least for me. Some people might want to do that, and that's great if that's the day that you want to start things, but I know I can start anything at any moment in time. I can wake up tomorrow and just be a completely whole new different person by choosing different actions. And that's really cool. There's a lot of power in that. And I just want to be really intentional with deciding where I place my energy and how I'm moving forward to try to like make progress in the categories that I desire. I was almost going to say that I feel like behind in, but I just feel ready to improve in so many different areas of life. And I don't know, that's kind of overwhelming. So I feel like I need to like prioritize like what's most important and then go from there type thing. Side note, I've started making myself tea, like just herbal tea, no caffeine. So I can have it like whenever. And one of my favorite things from Starbucks. Oop, I'm gonna sneeze. That was crazy. But one of my favorite things from Starbucks, like I don't go there for coffee, as I am a coffee snob now, that I get it from the farmer's market and whatnot. But I do like their medicine ball, and over time I've discovered that it's like steeped in lemonade and it's like peach and mint tea. And so I've just started making that at home. Like I'll fill up my little thingamabob, like a third with lemonade, and then boil water, and then put in peach and mint tea bags with some honey and pour it in there. And it is just like a delicious concoction, and for the most part like fairly healthy, and it makes me feel good. I feel like I have been just like a little sniffly lately, perhaps. It's just the winter season, and I've also been out and about a lot, just spending a lot of time outside recently. And yeah, I just want to like keep my immune system a-okay and just at least make my body feel good and cozy, and it tastes good. So I don't need to make all these excuses of why I make this, but those are the reasons why. And it's just super easy, very delicious, highly recommend. I would like to also become a tea snob someday. I do think that I could very much get into that, but I'm not there yet. I feel like I need more space. Like I need like a tea bar, a breakfast bar, a beverage bar. Right now we have a cute little like beverage fridge, which is wonderful, but yeah, room to grow. I do have another update regarding Christmas and food. I ended up opting out of making like a feast for us the night of. We were also invited last minute to go eat at a family member's house. So that actually worked out. I was like, I'll just save whatever I was cooking for us for another day. Like, let's eat some wonderful food that, other people have invited to like share with us. So that was really lovely. And I've decided to just like take all the like little recipes I've collected and like food and just like spread it out throughout the holiday season. Like that's what you do with the 12 days of Christmas, the Yuletide season, So we're just gonna keep it rolling. So instead of making all of the different recipes to eat all at once and then have a bunch of leftovers, I've decided to make each recipe like one at a time and like pair it with like something else easy to just like have for dinner one night. So I ended up doing like a chuck roast instead of a ham. for Christmas, I think, or a couple days after Christmas, since we ended up going to a family member's house for actual Christmas dinner. And that was yummy and obviously gave us, you know, a good amount of delicious leftovers per usual. And yeah, I just really wanted to do something easy. I just changed my mind thinking like I don't want to spend my whole day in the kitchen cooking when I could just be spending the day with my partner. Like Christmas was our anniversary and it's just the two of us. Like, why am I putting in a crazy amount of effort if, you know, we are totally content with something way more simple? Like, we actually got takeout Chinese food. It was wonderful, from our favorite local spot on Christmas Eve, and like that was so fun, and I very much dig that tradition. I don't know. I don't regret that decision at all. I very much valued like the time I spent with my partner versus, you know, cooking all this food. And we're still getting to eat all this like wonderful food throughout the weeks because I've like prepped some, saved some. Some of it was like canned stuff that's like not going to expire anytime soon. So I'm planning on making like stuffing with some chicken or something, like a stuffing casserole, or like just chicken on the side and stuffing and whatever. I think that would be like a really delicious dinner, and then that's very doable. Just like one thing to pop in the oven, some chicken in the cast iron. Delicious, simple, manageable, enough for just two people, you know? And then another night I can do the green bean casserole with something else as like a main star. Maybe we'll get some like steak or something. I feel like that could be really good. Or maybe I can send Riley out to the barbecue and he can do ribs or something like that. I don't know. Whatever we're feeling, we'll just like figure it out. We usually base it off of whatever meat is on sale. So that's something that we've been like trying to be better about. And I think we've done a pretty good job actually. And yeah, it's been fun just like trying out different cuts of meat and like learning about them. I feel like it's just one of the fun parts about eating is things taste different, the textures are different, there are different styles to like cook it. So yeah, we're learning, we're experiencing new things. It's a fun time. So yeah, that has been my new holiday plan, and I will probably do that for whatever else future holidays that we spend at home, just the two of us, because even though we're very much like, let's just like do something simple and eat some good food and hang out together, and like that's all we need to like have a wonderful holiday, you know, it still doesn't have to be this like big huge production that would prevent me from like participating in the quality time. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a good aesthetic shindig, and I plan to enter my dinner party era someday, but it's not right now, and I don't need to like force it before my life is naturally ready for that. You know what I mean? One thing I did want to talk about, since this is my first episode back, now that it's the new year, happy 2025. That's pretty crazy in my opinion, but not me about to have literally a quarter life crisis. But I just wanted to point out that the New Year's is a great time to just like ride the momentum of being inspired or motivated. Like, some people think it's cliche and silly or lame to like start going to the gym in January, you know, and sure, yeah, a lot of people won't stick with these goals that they're setting for themselves. I think they don't because it's not what they actually need, or it's not the way they actually need to like, not the path they actually need to take to like meet that goal. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's like going to the gym all the time and it doesn't work out for them, like they probably need to try exercising in a different type of way, like taking group classes or joining a running club or something different, you know, a different modality to like meeting that goal. But that's kind of beside the point. The main point is it's okay to like lean into the motivation of like, you know what, this is a fresh start, it's a new year, and even if it's cliche and what everyone else is doing, I do want to be healthier, so I'm going to try going to the gym, or I'm going to start researching exercise. And, you know, I think it's important to just like, yeah, lean into that energy of like, I can start right now. Like, anything that I want to improve with myself, I can start right now. And what I think is most important is to remember that you can have this energy at any point in the year. There is always a new fresh start moment that can help motivate you towards meeting your goals, whether that is, a new morning or a new week, a Sunday, a Monday, a new month, whatever day is next for you, that's when you should start meeting your goals. You can do it right now, actually. Like, in the next 15 minutes, you can do something that would get you a little bit closer towards making your dreams come true for yourself or something like that. Something I was journaling about earlier also was one of my favorite quotes, "Be as you wish to seem." I think I maybe mentioned it before. And I think it just really fits in with the new year, because if you envision this best, better version of you, this next level of you, as you're going into this new season of life, perhaps, what would that version of you be doing? What would their routine be? What actions would they be taking to maintain the status of being that better version of themselves? And then you take that and you start doing it. You put it in front of you and you implement it into your life, right? And of course, all of this is easier said than done. Like, these are things that I have figured out mentally, but I'm still human and I still struggle to put them into practice. But I absolutely refuse to let these thoughts go, because they continue to like ground me in the energy that I need to propel myself forward. So I ended up missing a few weeks on my podcast. That sucked. That wasn't meeting my goals. I really wanted to put out 12 episodes this year, but I actually put out 10. And you know what? That's okay. 10's actually just as pleasant of a number, and does it suck that I didn't meet a goal that I set for myself? Yeah, but I can still be grateful for all the progress that I made. And I can also just keep trying and not give up and not let messing up in my mind get in my way from continuing on this path that I'm determined to be on, right? And I think potentially that concept, that mindset could apply to a lot of different things in life. Something else I've been thinking about a lot recently has been the purpose of our negative emotions, in a way. And I think one of their biggest purposes is to teach us about ourselves. For example, the disappointment I felt whenever I missed freaking uploading a podcast episode, that really just showed me how important this podcast is to me, and is confirming to me that this is a path I want to be on. This is something that I do enjoy and that I do want for myself and that I do want to be consistent with and progress with. So that disappointment taught me to hold myself to a higher standard, to plan better, because I did plan very well. I just didn't stick to the plan in terms of like recording and batching episodes and editing and whatever, because you know what? I'm just in a very chaotic season of life. It's been the holidays and I had a job change and life is lifing right now, and I'm just riding the waves of the chaos, and that is totally fine, and I'm okay, and I will survive, and I'm learning a lot, and it is making me a more resilient human amongst other things, and blah, 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 blah. So much going on in my brain. I need a sip of tea to calm down. This actually perfectly ties into my next little segment that I want to chat about regarding just like reflecting on the past year. I feel like that is how I'm able to come up with these like goals and intentions that I have for this next year's. I've been taking my time looking back at the year as it's been wrapping up. The holidays just like naturally kind of do that for you. Spotify reminds you with your Spotify Wrapped, it's time to start reflecting, contemplating, having the existential crises, so on and so forth. I think the key parts of reflection is realizing regrets. Like, what do I wish I would have done differently? What do I wish I would have done more of? I think that also signifies like what things are important to me, and therefore I should make a greater effort to implement into my life moving forward. I also think it's a key and integral part of, actually learning the lesson that life was trying to teach you. Like, not only was it teaching you that like this thing, this idea, this concept, whatever, is important to you, it matters. The event may have also taught you, what not to do in the future. And that is also very, very valuable information. So, and regarding reflection, I really wanted to end on a positive note with the concept of gratitude. Looking back, I think there's a lot to learn from when it comes to like regrets and stuff like that, the like not so fun feelings. But I think it's also incredibly important to express gratitude for the things that you do value and that have brought you joy, and the wonderful moments and memories that you did get to experience, because that's what life's all about, is being blessed enough to have those moments, to have more of those moments than the hard days, have more good days than bad days. That's actually my New Year's resolution from a couple years ago, and I've kind of decided that that's just like my life goal, my life resolution. I had been setting like very specific New Year's resolutions for myself whenever I was younger, and they never worked out. And I think it's because I tried to assert too much control over my life. I didn't give the universe enough credit, I guess, for being unpredictable and for having unplanned things being a part of my life's journey and whatnot. So eventually I just had to get to the point where I was like, you know what? I can't have like a specific New Year's resolution anymore. Like, I'm no longer going to disappoint myself in that way. I need to like let go of these expectations, and I need to be more broad. I need to be more simple. Like, all I really want out of this life, like most other people, is to feel good and to be happy and to feel joy and be at peace and all the good feelings. So I want to have more good days than bad days. And this year I really felt myself trying to like fall back into that old pattern, like, trying to like set specific, resolutions for myself. And I do think in a way I am more mature, I'm stronger mentally and more capable. However, I do think that it's important for me to like remember this lesson that I have already been taught, and to hold on to my life resolution. Like, it's not just about this year and the next year and like it all broken apart, segmented into years. It's about the lifetime. And that's where I want that like broad focus to be personally. I don't know. When I say it out loud, it kind of sounds more existential and stressful than I mean for it to, but for me personally, it brings me just like a greater sense of peace to be a little bit more vague. And I think when it comes to like the specific goals, it works well more so for me in just like the short term. Like, I've been trying this new thing where I just want to do something beneficial for myself for at least 15 minutes a day. I get really caught up in just like work and taking care of the dogs and trying to take care of the house and, my partner and my friends and my family. And, I'm just one of those other people that will focus on everyone but myself unintentionally. And that's not very good for me. So I am challenging myself to spend at least 15 minutes setting a timer. And this could also help me with chores as well, and just other things that I struggle with. But the goal and the focus is on myself, and specifically creativity. Like, if I want to be an artist in this lifetime, then I need to start making some fucking art. I was going through my pictures to like do a little New Year's-y post, even though we're in the middle of January, but I don't really care. So I can still do a New Year's post if I want to, and just like reflect, recap the last year. Like, no one can stop me. So I'm going to go ahead and have my fun, even if I'm a little late to the game. Fashionably late is what I'll call it, because it just sounds better. And since I've thought of that, I've actually been doing pretty good. And I haven't even been like setting a timer or anything. I've just like naturally been working on this crochet project. I am attempting to make an egg, like like a pot holder, but not, because I bought really cheap yarn that's not like fire resistant, so it's not a pot holder, but it's gonna be like a pot spacer, because I hate the like clinking of the pots and the pans whenever we're like grabbing stuff. So a nice cute little buffer will A, just visually be cute and will make me smile every time I go to grab a pot, so that's fun. B, crocheting is fun, so like having a project is cool, just in general. And I don't think I have a C, so those are the reasons why I'm making this. However, when it comes to crocheting, I don't really, I haven't read many patterns. I've watched some YouTube videos, but for the most part, I've kind of just like learned a few concepts and then I've started like freestyling with it and learning trial and error as I go along. And it's maybe not the most efficient way to learn. However, it's fun and it forces my brain to like fully understand the concepts of what I'm doing. And I thought I had the capability to make this sunny side up egg. I made the yolk, a nice circle. It was beautiful. I started on the white part and I've goofed up somewhere along the way because it is very wavy. I don't know if my thingamabobs, my stitches are too tight or if there's too many of them or a little bit of both, but it's definitely looking more like a daisy, a flower. So I don't know if at this point I'm just gonna like turn it into a flower or if I'm gonna undo like 3 rings of stitches to attempt to fix it and make it my sunny side up egg, because I'm really conflicted because I'm not like too committed either way, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, if I turn it into a flower, then I still need to go back and make my egg, or I could undo this flower looking thing and keep making progress on my intended project. So it's a win-win situation either way. I'm not sure what I'll decide, but I like did a lot of crocheting earlier today, and yeah, it's just heartbreaking to undo it. Like my hand hurts. I stop whenever I start just like feeling tense because I don't know. I am a holistic health person and I just don't want to be frequently engaging in activities that don't like benefit my body and make it stronger. And I think it's like a user error thing in regards to like my grip and the ergonomics of how I'm crocheting. But we're figuring things out as we go along. I hope I'm not causing long-term damage to myself because that would be unfortunate. But for the sake of art, I'll do it. Honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and name off the other things I had planned as far as like attainable goals, because the 15-minute thing was kind of one of them. I think that's really attainable for me. And ideally, I want to end up with like a power hour every day where I'm either doing like 4 15-minute chunks of just like 4 little tiny tasks that I've been procrastinating and neglecting but like need to do, like emptying the leftovers out of the fridge and, you know, dusting the fans and also creating for me. That should have been the first one. I need to start naming that stuff first because that should be my top priority personally, because that's just how I feel and whatnot. But we're working on it. But yeah, even if it's just like doodling, I think just ensuring that I'm working out that part of my brain frequently, like that is only going to benefit me, I think. And also just not putting like pressure on myself. Like it doesn't have to be a serious project or anything like that. Like this crochet thing is not a serious project. It's just me easing into it. I'm excited about it, so I'm like naturally drawn to it. And I'm honestly spending way more than 15 minutes. And I think that's what makes it cool and what will make it turn into a power hour easier. Maybe I'm already doing it if I like actually timed myself. But once I start, like I'm into it and I'm in the zone and like the time doesn't matter as much and it's just like easier for me to keep going. And you know, if I'm really not feeling it, I can give myself permission to quit after 15 minutes and just like be proud of myself for the progress that I have made and like try again tomorrow and like give it another 15 minutes. And I think that personally just like will work a bit better for me than like trying to like automatically hold myself to this standard of like I need to do like X amount of things every day. If that makes sense. Like I need to create one piece every day or something like that. Like that's just like too much, and like forcing the creativity and like stuff like that just can't be forced. But I do think it can be exercised and encouraged. And I do think that rest is a key part to this. Like mentally, I'm only planning on holding myself accountable to this 5 days out of the week. And, I can knock it out my first 5 days and then give myself a couple days off, or I can, you know, take those in the beginning and then I have to like get them done like second chunk of the week. But either way, I think it's important to like find the balance most of all between the hard work and the rest. Like that is key for sustainability. So I essentially like categorize some things and then threw out some subjects and then better choices that I can hopefully make more often. No, not hopefully. Better choices that I can and will make more often. And we're just going to jump into it. So the first category is the mind. So it goes mind, body, soul, spirit, essentially. And the two categories, or the two subjects I have for this category, I'm confusing myself with my own notes, are journaling first. And the better choice I can make is that if it feels big, to pick up my pen before opening my mouth, because I always do so much better in meaningful conversations after I've like gotten my thoughts out, because that shows me like what's important to me, and it like helps me get like the feelings out of the way so they don't cloud up what I actually have to like say and share and get off my mind, good or bad. It's just like any feelings, I think it's important for me to turn to journaling. Like that's what I need to like correlate my brain with. Feelings, journal, solve problems. That is the pattern for me, I think. But the second one is reading, and the like better choice I'm trying to make is to start listening to audiobooks in between my podcasts. I did start this. I started listening to The Pilgrimage by Paulo Coelho. He is the author of The Alchemist, which is one of the most life-changing books I have ever read. Actually, it played a really big role in my year last year around this time. I think it was actually like my New Year's post caption had to do with the book The Alchemist, just like living life according to your legend. And if you've read it, you'll get it. If not, you just should read it and you should figure it out, or you should listen to it. That was one of the first audiobooks I listened to, and it was like 4 or 5 hours. Absolutely amazing. Recommend it for everyone. The audiobook specifically was so good. And the author did like different voices, which was always really fun. I do think that the voice author, or voice actor, not the author, the voice actor had just like a really nice voice and like different voices for the different characters. So that was always really fun. I think the voice actor plays a huge role in whether or not I can like really listen to an audiobook. So highly recommend that one. And I'm doing The Pilgrimage at the moment, and I'm not super far into it, just a couple chapters. And, I'm not necessarily as into it as the other one. Again, it's a different voice actor, so maybe that's playing into it. But again, I'm just attempting to make progress with this goal that I've set for myself to listen to audiobooks, because I'm on the road a lot these days, and it's very fun, very cool. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I'm also running through them a little bit faster. So I think an audiobook is a great thing to like listen to in between, and that'll help me just like consume more books and more knowledge and think differently and introduce me to new stories and new ideas. And that's what books are all about, I think. And a million other things too. But I have a hard time reading physical books, especially like at night. I like to do Sudoku and puzzle because that helps me get sleepy. And if I read before bed, I have a hard time like remembering what I read, and like then it's like, what's the effort for? But also during the day, it would probably be so good for me to read. But I just have a hard time of like forcing myself to like take pause and slow down and like pick up the book and read. But maybe that's also a better choice that I could make. But moving on to the next category would be the body. So essentially, like, this is just like continuing to like focus on meeting my basic needs. I have been stretching every morning this past week, and it has been lovely, just for however long I feel, honestly, just whenever I wake up and like get it all set up until like the sun comes up, essentially, and then I've got to feed the doggos. And it has been just a really great way to start the morning. And I don't know, I'm not like forcing myself to do this big old crazy intimidating workout. Like right now I'm just like trying to like get myself to like move the first few minutes of the day. Like I look at my dogs getting up after their naps and they always stretch. Like naturally, the animals that should just like come to us. So I'm leaning into that a little bit more. So yeah, that's for like movement. I don't know if I said that. And for nutrition, just eating a more protein based breakfast. I had 2 eggs this morning. Tons of protein in those babies. But I think that will make a huge difference in how I feel in my energy levels. I know because I have eaten like big heartier breakfasts in past seasons of life and they were better. I felt more capable and it's because I was fueling myself. So we're just getting back on track with those things. So far so good, but we just have to keep it up. Or if, we miss a day, do it the next day and just never give up, as Naruto would say. This next one's kind of tricky, but for sleep, limiting blue light, like after sundown, I've been using like a red light lamp, my like hatch alarm. Oh, it's over there. Yeah, by like the disco ball or whatever. And that has been lovely, but just, watching TV around dinner time is so easy and it can be nice, but I really want it to be more of a treat, regular, rather than a regular thing. So for the purpose of like limiting blue light after sundown, like the sun's going down, we don't need more light than that. And yeah, I'm just trying to be better about waking up, going to sleep, living life like by the sun and the moon in that sense, because I think that's what we're meant to do as not nocturnal animals. Something else I've been doing since before New Year's, but I really want to keep it up because it is just like a good choice regarding hydration, is having like an electrolyte beverage after my caffeinated beverage. I think I feel like I'm having 2 treats back to back, which is kind of wild but one gets me going, makes me productive, is delicious coffee, and later in the day, a midday, whatever, I have my Target knockoff liquid IV, which tastes like passion fruit or lemon lime, and it's also delicious, but it also makes me feel really good, and I feel like it helps just keep me hydrated, and the rest of the day, I drink water until dinner time. Then I might have another little treat. I've been having sparkling apple cider a lot recently, and it has been lovely. Honestly, it's so nostalgic for me because that's what we would always have as like kids for the holidays, since kids can't have alcohol, obviously. Not that the parents really did either for the most part. I don't know. It really just like depended on who was hosting, I guess. And yeah, I don't really like care to drink these days, but the freaking apple cider, I'm digging it. I love it. It tastes good. I'm a fan. So, I've been enjoying that this holiday season, but yeah, hydration is something I definitely need to focus on quite a bit more, and I think it'll just like make me feel so much better. Like, if you're like me and you get little headaches here and there, you're probably dehydrated. If you feel dehydrated, you definitely already are. If you feel thirsty, you're probably dehydrated. Everyone right now, drink some water because we're all dehydrated. Next would be the soul. So I feel like part of my soul desires like traveling, adventuring, experiencing, exploring, just all those things that make me feel like I'm like truly living life. And a choice I just need to make more often is going somewhere new or trying something new. If I'm going to my favorite restaurant, I should try something new next time rather than getting the same thing. Or instead of going to a restaurant I already know I love, I should go and try a new restaurant type thing. Or go sit at a new park that I've never been to. And yeah, I just need a little bit more of that in my life. Whether I'm spending money or not, like that's a choice that I can easily make at least once a week. Like I will have the opportunity naturally to like just make the choice. Like, oh, do something familiar that's in my comfort zone, or do something that's out of my comfort zone and either hate it and never do it again, or have an amazing time and feel blessed that I was like introduced to this new thing, And the other part of my soul has the desire to create, obviously. So that's kind of where my like 15 minutes of creating a day comes in. And I think when it really comes down to it, just like making something every day. Like if I'm not making art, then I should be making a meal or something. Like just doing something that has to do with the act of creating. And I'm totally a broken record at this point. And just prepare for more broken record sounds later on out of my mouth, whatever words. But just the act of creating is what my soul desires, I do believe. And I need to do that every day so I can feel fulfilled a little bit more every day. And even if I'm having one of the hardest days ever, if I can just even add to a creation just a dot or one word, that's still like making me progress towards my goals, towards my dreams. And that's the energy that I'm really trying to like lean into at the moment. Finally, we have the category of my spirit, and I think that's where pretty much everything I talked about at the beginning with like the tarot reading comes in. You know, whenever I have a question, pull out the tarot, see what it has to say. If I'm feeling like learning something, the tarot also has many opportunities for me. I really want to take the time to get to know the deck and to get to know myself. I also think like a morning tarot pool is something I'm not going to hold myself accountable to every single day, but most days, especially the days that I feel like I need it, I think doing a little pool in the morning, just like one card, can be a really great way to do both of those things, get to know myself and get to know the deck. I also want to spend more time researching, learning about, focusing on reading the horoscopes from astrology and numerology. I very much believe in you find what you're looking for, and I just want to really start leaning in to looking for signs from the universe again, because that just makes me feel really connected to all the energy of everything that is happening around me, and I just feel like it puts me on this like certain vibrational wavelength that is much more flowy and a lot less choppy than wherever I've been living life recently. And I've been disconnected from the universe, just absolutely engulfed by my own thoughts and my ego and whatever problems I think are right in front of me and whatever else. And last but not least, when it comes to my spiritual practices, I do want to do more research regarding chakra and chakra practices. And no, not just because I have been watching Naruto. Okay, I'm like being serious, all right? But I want to read more about it, think a little bit about it more, journal about it, simply just bring more focus to that. I started to dabble in it a few years ago, and I think it was really working out for me well. I think I just got distracted, and I'm ready to just turn towards those types of spiritual practices. I feel like that's just like really what I need moving forward in this new year. These are visions for the new year, right? Let's see what happens. See if we can rock and roll with them. But alrighty, I have chit-chatted enough. Again, more than I intended to, but I don't care. Sorry, not sorry. It was delightful. It was fun. I hope you had fun. I hope you had so much fun that you'll be back again next week, because I will. I promise. I swear. We are going to be more consistent, at least until we have our next mental breakdown. Just kidding. Not really. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, I hope you return for next week's episode. I think I just want to chat more about like astrology, numerology. Let this just be like my excuse to do more research, and I will share those thoughts with you. And if I change my mind, we'll be in for a little surprise, a little treat or something like that. So I love you guys. Thank you for coming. Thanks for showing your support. Feel free to like, rate, subscribe, comment, whatever, follow. I'm just grateful to have you here, and I hope you've had a happy new year, happy holiday season, and I'm gonna say goodbye now. So until next time, bye babes.